Hello and welcome to another episode of Our Own Devices. With us this time is Partha Neog of Vantage Circle, and we are going to talk about the topic that is really at the top of everybody's mind every day, every week, and that interest is only going up with time. And that you might have guessed is Chat GPT, conversational AI, and what it is going to do to our lives. Partha, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nandagopal. Thanks for having me here.
Partha, before we start, if you could give a quick overview of what Vantage Circle does.
All right, so we are in the employee engagement space. So that's a slightly motherhood kind of a statement. So we have different modules which companies use to engage their employees, rewards and recognition systems, then employee wellness, employee listening tools, sentiment analysis. So those are the engagement tools. So it's like a SaaS software, which and normally the HR take it for their entire like set of employees there. So that's where we are. I mean, we are about 12 years old. We are bootstrapped, profitable. Uh, we are primarily based out of Guwahati. When I say primarily, as in like we have about 200 odd people in Guwahati. I am in Delhi, and we have about 6, 7 people in the US there. So
It's
yeah.
actually great to hear about a startup coming out of Guwahati. I have actually met a few, but this is great news also. And it's not all Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, which is
Oh,
which is
yeah,
where
yeah,
we should be.
yeah. Thank God we did this. It's not with some big vision that we did Guwahati. It was like at that time we had to take a decision, so we took it. But it has worked out really well.
So, let me ask the big question, which has sort of been hanging over all of us' lives, and this is something I'm sure if you're picking up employee chatter like you do, is also a big question in every office right now. Is ChatGPT going to take away jobs?
Single line answer: I don't think so. Okay, and I can imagine like 150 years back, right? This is the industrial revolution. Also, I think the same question must have been asked at that time. Will this take away? See, we slightly there's a lot of hype in the market. There's a lot of noise and chatter as you have put in there. But we sometimes overestimate, as someone I think Bill Gates only said, we overestimate the impact in the short term and underestimate in the long term. Right. So
Yeah,
I think
true.
we are overestimating right now. It's a nice shiny tool right now. Immediately, I am saying in the maybe 1 or 2 years kind of thing, and it'll of course keep on improving. But when we are seeing it personally also in our company, we are excited because it's a productivity tool. We are not worried that it's going to take away our jobs. For example, a lot of people say about content creators being like one of the biggest hits will happen on the content creator. We have a huge content creation team. Okay, we have about 40 odd people doing content. They're all excited about how this productivity is happening with this. Okay, using this tool, creating a first draft of it, then putting your inputs to it. So I think I don't see that the skills will shift. The skills required will be shifting over time. But of course, there'll be impact. There'll be certain sections of people who will be impacted, but it will come up in some kind of new roles. So I'll keep it short, but as we discuss, I will discuss those points. But I don't think we are excited about productivity rather than scared about the job loss.
But obviously, there is going to be a little bit of a shifting. There is going to be a consolidation of how and where the resources are used because you really don't need to put in a lot of human resource into things that can be easily taken away by you know uh, artificial intelligence, right?
True, true. I totally agree on that. And that's why I said that there'll be a shift in certain areas and certain things, for example, legal research thing, okay, customer support kind of thing, where the basics, once you train up your model, it can answer. It will impact on that. There'll be a shift for sure. And there are certain areas where I directly see high volume, repetitive kind of work.
Yeah.
As someone yesterday only, I was talking to someone. I said like I'm talking to Nandagopal tomorrow. I mean, what do you think about this? They said like legal. A lot of paralegal work is there, right? And that's like just going through volumes and volumes of data and coming up with some your opinion or just not even your opinion. It's like more like just giving out the data. Those will be impacted for sure. But I also think more original work. See, in your life, my life also, I'm sure 50% of our time we spend on mundane stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
if that 50% was available, maybe you will become more productive or more original. Okay, I'll become more original in that. So the shift is definitely going to be there, but it'll also give people the time, okay, to really start thinking more originally, and creating more value. I mean, of course, I mean, I'm just one voice here. I mean, there'll be like different opinions how it's going to impact, but totally agree on you. Certain jobs will definitely impact it. And I yesterday again, slightly flippant comment was, wherever there is more educated jobs, that will be impacted. So a McDonald's flipper, burger flipper will not be impacted. A farmer will not be impacted. Where you have studied a lot, kind of thing, those degrees and all, those will be impacted more, kind of thing is what they said. But yeah, no, I think it's a slightly trivial statement. Yeah.
In a way where you have studied more but not doing much. You
Which
know?
is, by the way, mostly right. I mean, I did my engineering, right? How much of my engineering do I
Yeah.
use?
Is actually
Actually,
used.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and so mostly I must be doing Excel sheets and PowerPoint presentations, right? So those I think is very likely to be impacted. So I can make a beautiful presentation with this GPT tools, AI tools there.
Interestingly, a very interesting conversation I had a few years back, and I'm talking about at least 4 to 5 years back with um, Andrew NG, who is the founder of Coursera. He had told me that humans will or human intelligence will be put to better use, which is the positive way of looking at it, right? We are too good to do a lot of these things which computers can easily manage. We should be doing better. But I think, and this is a conversation I have with my team, is that suddenly, a lot of us find that we have to be at least better than what AI can do. If we are at the same level or even worse, then we should feel a little bit threatened. Is that right?
Yes, I mean, for true. For example, I think, I mean, if you have to pick up one job, I think which you, if I think like where is copywriting, right?
Yeah.
The copywriting is like they're going to generate thousands and thousands of different messages for you. Okay, uh, but can I actually use where I get something? I'll give you one example. So we have to create something on our web page. Okay, that what is the headline of this page? Now we actually prompt the GPT. I mean, we're starting to experiment. It's very early days. We're starting to
Yeah.
experiment. We're saying, hey, we have an employee engagement software targeting HR for companies in the range of 300 to 500 people, and we have this well-being product. Okay, so what should be the message? Now you saw that the prompt which I gave had to have some context. Okay, I just can't say give me a line for the my web page.
Hmm.
Once they give it also, right now it's augmenting me. I will still think, change context and all those things as it
Keep on
improves.
fine tuning.
Keep on fine tuning, but that fine tuning over time, okay, and depending on the regulations and everything, maybe even the fine tuning will be, the full execution will be done in 2 3 years down the line. Right now
Yeah.
it doesn't, as in like you can't input this, you can't train this system. I mean, you can train it on your stuff, but it doesn't go to the general public there. There's some
Yeah.
kind of things I'm not very sure about it. I think those kind of regulations also will play an important part, but it will execute the whole job. Today the fine tuning, so you are actually doing the good work. You're not trying to find out the first sentence in the first draft, right? For example, you might tell your junior in office, right, hey, give me a first draft, let me review it. Okay, that thing can be maybe given to Chat GPT. Okay, give me the first draft, let me review, let me improve on that thing. So it's augmenting my stuff. Having said that, now I realize that other guy's job is gone, right? So but in a few years time, I think even this whole context and everything also they will understand who's asking me. Okay, it's Nandagopal, he is a journalist in Indian Express, that he's asking me this question. So he's asking for some, so they'll get some context also, is I believe. But I really can't predict. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like all these guys how they're preparing this software and all. I'm not sure, but I am thinking this is how it's going to develop.
It's interesting that you brought up that question, right? Because the answers that Chat GPT or any conversational AI can give you at this point is only as good as the question you are posing it, right? So in fact, people who can actually think of a very intelligent question which can give you the right output is now become a skill job suddenly. I don't know whether you have thought of it that way.
No, no, actually, and now that you've told me this, I'm just thinking, right now, if you remember, many guys say the management job is to ask the right questions,
Right
right?
question.
Yeah, you just ask. So now you have are actually asking that person the right questions there. Earlier, after generating three, four, different, I mean, in this example only, I'm saying three, four different copywriting lines. You're like too tired to think beyond it. Okay, now I can't think. Okay,
Yeah.
let me just do this thing. So the job of the management, they say, is to ask the right question, right? I would not say management. I think for any profession, if you can ask the right questions, so that's where the intelligence is required, right? That's why we are better as of now. As of now, okay. I don't know, tomorrow, in a few years' time, it might be like, okay, they know everything.
Now, this also, again, taking from the question I asked you earlier, this also means there's a lot of upskilling that you now need to do because you are in an AI environment now. That where AI is almost like electricity, as some people have said. It is there in everything that you will do, especially if you are in a software, a computer-led work environment. AI is coming into everything. So understanding AI, being able to exploit AI is a skill set which maybe now everybody needs to do, needs to have. And that also means a huge upskilling across industries, across employee levels. Is that something that you are now, hearing from the company?
We are hearing, but I was just also reading a Gartner report on this. Almost 70% people, I mean, it was a very recent, like February 20th, kind of a report there. When they had done a survey with, I don't know, X number of companies, they said like about 70% are not doing any, not taking any action, okay, right now. They're just listening to what is there. We're also not doing anything, okay. Are we now planning, oh, let's do the chat GPT training for everyone? Right now we are not doing anything actively. We just learn, we just and we're not even telling our employees or even our clients, we don't hear them that they're saying that we are asking them to take some special courses or something. But it's just a natural thing, okay. It's right now the excitement is there, people are learning on their own. You see a lot of content on LinkedIn, right? People are putting up all the chat GPT based results and all those things which are there.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of time. I think it's just about another, maybe 6 months or so, when this upskilling has to be an active decision of companies. What do we use? I mean, now that I know that maybe 30% of my company's work can be improved, the productivity can be improved, what can I use these team members for? And particularly in the knowledge work, I mean, most of our clients are in the tech sector, and all, okay. So there, I don't think so. It's sometimes learning new skills is also a cultural thing. It's difficult. I
Yeah.
can't learn and all those things. But in this knowledge kind of economy or knowledge workers, they're anyway used to it. Even the software engineer in 3 years' time, is basically redundant now. Okay, that they have to learn new skills, so they're already used to it. So I think this skilling will be happening, and there will be some active decisions which have to be taken by companies. But I see in the next 6 months to a year that these kind of things will happen. uh, Companies will start, and again, going back to the first statement, we're slightly overestimating the near term impact, okay. But over a few years, I think this has to be done.
Again, the same point that we were discussing about the chatter. So, are you seeing this? If you have, visibility into what employees are thinking, is this positive or negative so far?
Again, let me just give the context. So most of our, I mean, the companies where we work with, most of them are in the tech sector,
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
So there, it has been a very positive thing, okay, and everyone's trying to uh, get the gold rush initially. Like, let me just learn up something. They're excited about it, okay, and then show out what all applications are possible with this tool, which there. So we're not seeing that. And I also saw in our own company, we have about 40 to 50 content writers. Okay, they're very actively trying to see how it can be better. And I see in our company chat channels which are there, right? So everyone's like, okay, I got this thing, and hey, this is how it's coming up, and they're sharing this knowledge. So I see a very positive thing right now. Okay, no one's, but frankly speaking, I don't see anyone really worried right now. I think the long term planners, okay, or the economist kind of guys who are like more futuristic kind of thinkers who are there, they can
Yeah.
see that. Okay, they are already seeing it in, okay, couple of years or maybe 5 years down the line. This is going to happen. So they are more worried, and I think I mean, rightfully so. I mean, they're looking at it much longer horizon, and they're worried. I've seen some of the grim stories there that these jobs will be going off. Okay, these jobs are not going. But then again, what I said initially, right? I'm sure this would have been the same discussion 150 years back. Okay, and I think
Yeah.
we'll have enough new areas to improve. How much more productivity can improve there? One of my cousins is a what do you call radiologist, right? So radiologist is like you just look at those scans and then you give your opinion on that, right? So he does,
Yeah.
and he's in India, so which means like so many radio reports he has to see it
Yes.
every hour kind of thing. Now it's like almost someone is going to give that report to him. He just needs to review the report, okay, and look at additional things there. Much better outcome there, okay,
Right.
much better
And
outcome for
quicker
the
outcome.
quicker outcome, more reliable also maybe. Okay.
Outcome. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
by the way, on when I say reliable, right now I don't think it's very reliable.
Yeah.
Down the line, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But on this space, exactly, what you're saying about reading reports, and I have spoken to companies that work in this space. There is a company called Cure AI, and there are others which are basically looking at medical reports, making life easier for the doctors to say that, okay, there's a 75, so in the scan, the 75% area has at least been removed. Like you don't have to even check those areas. Look at the other 25. We are saying this is where we are seeing an anomaly to start with, right? That itself takes away. So, and a lot of things where there is nothing, it doesn't even have to go to a doctor, right? Because it's
right.
very clear that there's a clean report. No, it's only when it needs to be escalated to a report to a doctor that you have to take that call. So again,
Correct.
it takes a lot of the first level screening out, and saves that precious human resource of having skilled doctors, who can
Exactly.
put
So
their
we
time
also,
on better things. Yeah.
yeah, India lacks doctors, right? So hopefully this will
Yes.
give
Yeah.
free up their
Absolutely.
time to
Yes.
provide a better service there. So yeah, I think I am very positive about this whole thing. I'm just waiting to see what kind of competitions come up. Okay, the Google
Mm.
version, the Microsoft version, the others, and of course the bigger worry, not directly impacting me or my company, is that again domination by one or two of these guys. Okay, how do they
Yeah.
control these things? Is a how exactly will they control it? Okay, what kind of results will they show? How much are their biasness going to come into these kind of things? So that is a slightly worry, but not directly impacting me. Yeah.
So one last question before we wind up. As you mentioned, this is not new. This has happened before. 150 years ago, we had maybe the big, revolution for industrialization, and then maybe about 30 years ago, we had the big move towards computerization. And this maybe we are already looking at it as something of that scale of or that impact, right? This is a game changer kind of a technology that is coming in. And again, it is not sudden because maybe we've been talking about AI for 10 years. Like if you've been in my space as in technologist in that, talking to companies working on cutting edge thing. But this is now sort of hit a sweet spot where, it is suddenly available to everybody. Everybody can sort of harness the power of, AI, think about things you could not do ever before or do it at that kind of scale that it is possible right now. So how do you prepare for that? Are there learnings from the past, from the mechanization era, the computerization era that you take in to here, or do we have to sort of wait and watch how we as people, as employees, as companies evolve to this kind of a big ticket event?
So, coming from my entrepreneurial background, okay, I would be looking at opportunities to. This is the gold rush again, okay, kind of. I mean, I don't know what scale of the gold rush, but there is an opportunity here. Okay, there's an opportunity here in what we bring in terms of the features, what we capture there. So I think we have to, the entrepreneurial guys have to look at what all spaces are available and bring it out there. Okay, for the for the rest of the people, okay, I mean the guys who are not entrepreneurial by nature, there. So I think their mindset has to now prepare themselves. Okay, that how do I that I have to keep on constantly learning. Okay, I can't just rest on my whatever I have learned. I have to constantly learning and evolving. It was mostly a tech area earlier, that the tech guys have to keep on learning new languages and whatever, Java, C, this thing, that thing, all those things. Okay. But I think now everyone has to have the mindset to constantly keep on learning. I am worried, what do I teach my children? My kid is like in class 10. What exactly do I teach? Engineering, maths, artificial coding? What do I teach? I don't know. Okay. I just am
Yeah.
trying to make him adaptable to keep on learning different things there. So I think
Yes.
that's the mindset change which we have to bring in.
Yes, absolutely wonderful insight that we now need to be more adaptive. And I think it's also because, what AI could do is that, like, where we, spoke about, a big change happening 150 years ago, then the next change happening maybe 100 years after that, and then the next change happening 50 years after that. Maybe the frequency of these big game-changing events could now be, even more frequent, because of AI and how quickly you could move on in tech and in everything else that we do. So we have to be more adaptive now. It's not like you became an engineer, had a 50-year career in engineering. You will need to have maybe your career shifts happening every 2, 3 years, because that is how your environment is going to change.
And then this is sometimes scary from this point that, okay, I'm like at this age
It
now
is
again. I'm
always scary.
learning. So I mean, you already hear the stories, right? Engineers above 40
Yes.
years, it's difficult to get employment. If you're fired by any chance above 40 years and you're an engineer,
Yes.
I mean,
Same for
it's a bit.
journalists above 40 years too.
No, no. I think journalists are creating new content, right? I mean, you're creating new areas. So I think your area comes with a lot of experience needed. I mean, yeah, but maybe now there might be some impact there. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Fascinated talking to you, Partha, and great for having you on the show.
thank you, Nandagopal.
So you were listening to Partha Neog from Vantage Circle. We'll be back again, with another guest. Till then, goodbye. We are everywhere you listen to your podcast.